Yebo kuyiqiniso lokho ukuthi ke kwakukhona ke ukungibuzana ke noma ke ukungaboni ke ngasonye ke mayelana ke naloko ukuthi ke uma echaza ke uMr Msipile ukuthi ke wena ke kanye naye ke uyamuhala nani sho ke ukuthi ke nina ke niyakholelwa ke noma ke niyavuma ukuthi ngempela bakhona abantu abangena bese ukuthi yena ke umakhubo kanye naye ke ubuthelezi bethi bona ke cha lokho leyo nkulumo leyo abahambisaniyo nayo bona bethi ke cha abekho abantu abangena khona lapha kona lokho ngempela ke kuyiqiniso nanje bangishilo ke nangaphambili ukuthi ke kwakukhona ke nalenkulumo ke kodwa ke akaze kuziwe ke kumina ke kuthiwa Kennel kune statement owasithatha kuyena ke uhlophe leso statement leso ke asisiboni kodwa nje kwakuyinzolo izinto ke engayibona ke kulona ke idokodo lelo ingakho ke manje sengalungisa ke khona lokho futhi ke kunawo ke nomhlangano owawukhona ke wange-29 zika January 2019 kanye naye ke uBrigadier Perumal la ekwakushiwo ke khona ukuthi ke uphenyo ku63610 2014 luyaqhubeka bese kuthi ke nalamalunga amanye ababili ke khulunywa ngaye ke umakhubo kanye nobuthelezi bethi cha uphenyo ke ngakuleli ke idokodo olu375 bona ke basho ukuthi ke cha lapho ke uphenyo seluqediwe akusekho phenyo olwenziwayo.
And you stated that as a result of the differences, Warrant Officer Makubo and Colonel Buthelezi then went their separate ways, where they then removed officially from the investigation of 636 of 10/2014.
My lord, they went their separate ways. I wouldn't say I was the lead investigating officer, so at no stage did I say to them they should not form part of the team. It just happened, my lord, that they were not coming through. There were no reports coming. It was clear that there were a lot of trust issues, my lord. So they just went a separate way, my lord.
Ukusho ukuthi ke manje ke uyena ke uwarrant officer Makhubo kanye naye ke uLieutenant Colonel Buthelezi ke manje base ke bephumela ke ngezabo ke indlela ke ukuthi ke manje ngabe ukhona yini umlomo owasho noma ke owakhishwa ukuthi ke cha abangasibiyona ke ingxenye manje yalo uphenyo lolu cha mina ke nanjengo uyena ke wayehola ithimba leli eliphenyayo ke angaze ngisho ke bona ukuthi cha ke manje abasuke ke bangabiyona ke ingxenye ukuthi nje bona ibona ke nje abathatha isinqumo sokuthi ke kwakungani ama report ayingasezi ukubona ukuthi futhi ke nokuthembana ke akusekho.
So, sorry, my lord, just to add on that, this is the reason why I said in my evidence in chief, the appointment of Brigadier Perumal was then brought in. The purpose was to be the coordinator between the SAPS and the NPA, but most importantly, it was for him to come with fresh pairs of eyes to look into this docket 636 as well as the 375 because it was in existence at the time, and then brief the National Commissioner in terms of these differences that were apparent. I gave Brigadier Perumal this docket. That is actually the only time also where the docket was out of my hand, when he made copies of this. I do know, my lord, as I've said in evidence in chief, that he didn't manage to get hold of the docket 375. There was resistance and he never got it.
Ilapho ke noma ke bengishilo ngaphambilini ukuthi ke kwakungenxa yaleso sizathu ke la kwalethwa khona ke uBrigadier Perumal ukuthi ke kuze ke manje ke amehlo amashake la ezobheka khona ke azothatha u636 10 of 2014 ambuke abese thatha futhi nelinye leli ke idokodo u375 ambuke ke abese yabe asho ke ukuthi yena uthini ke manje nanjengoba kukhona ke lokhu ukuthi kunalo mehluko okhona ke kulamadokodo amabili ke ngase ngimnikeza mina ke babe senikeza ngovo lwakhe ngamnikeza ke mina leli idokodo u636 isona sikhathi kuphela ke la idokodo leli alingekho esandleni sami ukuthi ke enze amakhophi alo kodwa ke idokodo leli u375 lona ke akaze alithole noma ke babe ngavumi ke ukuthi bamnike.
So, sorry, my lord, just to qualify, when I say it's the only time the docket was out of my hand, I'm referring other than the times when it went to the DPP, both in Johannesburg and here in Pretoria.
Futhi ke uma ngathi ngithi ke isona sikhathi ke la idokodo sasilingekho kumina ke ngikhuluma ke ngaphandle kwesikhathi la khona ke idokodo ngangilithatha ngilise kuma office abeshushisi la ePitori kanye nase Johannesburg.
Now that and emanating from your answer as to Warrant Officer Makubo, Colonel Buthelezi not reporting back to you as the investigating officer, and the fact that they do have copies of 636 each on them, Does that mean there was a parallel investigation by yourself and Makubo and Buthelezi and yourself and Ramohala and Buthelezi and Makubo on this matter?
I wouldn't say there was a parallel investigation. My Lord, as I said, the lines of engagement, and that is the protocol, because I was not told officially there's a parallel investigation. When an instruction is given that this is the lead investigating officer, that is instruction. Protocol must be observed. That is now the discipline that we are taught in the police. Secondly, the chain of command in terms of seniority was very clear as to who is the leading investigating officer, other than the appointment itself. So there is no parallel investigation that I'm aware of. That's to answer Mr. Ramsipile's question. Secondly, there is only one docket, my Lord, that relates to the death of Senzo Meyiwa, and that is docket 636, Phosphorus 636 of 10/2014. What I know insofar as what could be termed parallel, and I don't know how, my Lord, is that docket 375 of 1/2019 was then opened, and I've heard this assertion that is parallel, but as I said in my evidence in chief, that is a docket of defeating the end of justice, not murder. So I'm not sure how the two can be parallel, because this is murder, this is defeating. This occurs in 2014, the docket of defeating gets opened in 2019. So I'm not aware, my Lord. I know that there's been this talk that parallel, but there's no parallel insofar as I know, my Lord.
Ngabe lokho kusho ukuthi ke uma uthi ke amakhophi ke noma ke warrant officer Makubo kanye naye ke uLieutenant Colonel Buthelezi benamakhophi ke alelo docket leli u63610 of 2019 ukuthi nanjengoba wena ke la noRamuhala kolunye uhlangothi niphenya nabo ke bayaphenya kolunye uhlangothi baphenya ngalo idocket leli u63610 of 2014 yena ke uMakhubo kanye naye ke uButhelezi. Lokho ke angikwazi ukuthi babenzo lwabo uphenyo ngale nkathi thina senza ke uphenyo, ngoba ke uma nkathi ke ngiqokwa ke ukuthi beyimina umholi lana ke ngokwasemaphoyiseni ke kunalokho kubizwa ngokuthi ke ubusenior ke noma ke ama rank, futhi ke indlela ke safundiswa ngayo leyo ukuthi kwakuyimina owaqokwa nanjengo oyinhloko kwithimba eliphenyayo, futhi ke nama rank nawo ke ecacile. Uma ke manje sesikhuluma ke ngalo leli ke idokodo eliwu 3751 of 2019, uma lona ke livulwa ngayo u2019, lapho ke icala ke lapho kwakuphazamisana nokusebenza komthetho. Lana ke ku63610 of 2014 kuphenywa icala lokubulala. Angazi ke manje ukuthi ke ukuphenya lokho okuhambisanayo kanjani uma amacala ehlukene.
Lastly, my Lord, on that aspect, as I've said again, that on the 29th of January 2019, when we met at the DPP's office, Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi and Warrant of Samakubo, the docket that I saw, not perusing it but seeing the file that they said, and obviously I picked it up during the discussion between Brigadier Perumal, the DPP and them. As I said, it was not a conducive meeting, but I do recall that the docket that they brought forward or said we are done with the investigation, it was in relation to 375 of 1/2019. I did not see them or hear them or observe them saying here's 375 and here's the district docket. They were simply referring to 375, and that is why I'm saying I'm not aware of any parallel investigation. Hence, on our side, meaning Brigadier Perumal and obviously I was in his company, insofar as this matter, we're far from over, my Lord, at that time.
Okunye futhi engakusho ukuthi ngaye uJanuary ka2019 kathi ke uLieutenant Colonel Buthelezi kanye naye ke warrant officer Makubo kuleyo mhlangano lo ebengikhulumile ngayo kanye naye ke uBrigadier Perumal khulumisana kwabo ke kanye ke nabeshushisi iDPP kanye futhi nabo ke ngayo ukuthi idokodo engalithatha ke ngalibuka, kodwa ke idokodo engalibona ke beze nalo ke bekhuluma ngalo kwakuyona u375. Abashongo ke ukuthi siphethe u375 ngala siphethe yena ke u636. Yila abasho khona ke ukuthi mayelana naleli ke idokodo u375 thina ke sesiqedile ukuphenya. Ngaleso sikhathi ke kolothu uhlangothi ke ngikhuluma mina ke kanye ke noBrigadier Perumal sasisekude ke ngokuthi ke singasho ukuthi sesiqedile ukuphenya u63610 2014.
You further stated that Makubo and Buthelezi are the current investigators of 37501 of 2019.
Yes, my Lord, as far as I know, correct.
Yebo, ngokwazi kwami ke uwarrant officer Makubo kanye naye ke uLieutenant Colonel Buthelezi bona-ke abaphenya u-3751 ka-2019.
And further that the A1, the complainant in 37501 2019, according to the information you have, is Warrant Officer Makubo.
Yes, I said, my lord, specifically according to the system, in other words, the case system of the police, it indicates that it's warrant officer Makubo, my lord.
It's
Yeah.
A1, ne?
Yeah, he's a complainant in short.
Futhi-ke kulelo idokodogo u-3751 2019 umuntu okuyena-ke wafaka icala noma-ke owamangala-ke noma kuloko kubizwa ngokuthi-ke i-case system emaphoyiseni noma-ke u-A1 uyena u-warrant officer Makubo.
And now, having had access to 37501 2019, and by access, I'm not saying perusal, I mean the time when you had it, when an order was made that disclosure of that docket should be made available to the defense team in this matter. If you can answer it, you can. If you can't, you can't. Do you know who the suspects are in 37501 of 2019?
My lord, my recollection, and I say this under correction, my recollection, because I want to assist as far as I can, I do know that it will be the people who were inside the house, according to what they allege, and I think Mrs. I don't know whether it's a Miss or Mrs. Piri. That's basically what I recall, my lord.
Uma uwazi-ke ungasho, uma ungazi usho-ke, kodwa ingabe uyazi yini ukuthi obani abasola kulena-ke lolo idokodoke u-3751 2019? Ngizama-ke ukuthi ngilekelele la engikwazi khona-ke ukuthi-ke kwabo abantu abasendlini-ke futhi-ke kuyashiwo-ke uMiss noma-ke uMrs. Piri.
Now, at that meeting of the 29th of January 2019 with Brigadier Perumal, the DPP, and yourselves as the investigative team of 636 of 10/2014, what reasons did Makubo and Buthelezi give for refusing to share that docket with a person appointed by the National Commissioner to come and coordinate 636 of 10 of 2014?
Yeah, my lord, I do not have a clear favoritism in terms of the response, but all I can say is that there was resistance. It should be noted, my lord, like I said, before this meeting of the 29th of January, there was already an engagement telephonically between the Brigadier Perumal and the members, and I was told that there was resistance. So meeting there with the DPP and them, things were not really, it was a tense situation. Like I said, the Brigadier took exception in terms of protocol and discipline, but there were a lot of issues, my lord, which I don't think are relevant for this matter, except to say there was a tension, my lord, and I don't recall the reasons given, my lord.
Manje-ke kulo mhlangano wokhona-ke wange-29 zika-January 2019 uBrigadier Perumal, ihhovisi labashushisi i-DPP kanye-ke nethimba lelo elaliphenya-ke, ingabe sikhona yini isizathu noma sasithini isizathu esanikezelwa yibona-ke oMakubo kanye naye-ke uButhelezi ukuthi-ke bengafuni-ke ukuthi banikezeleke ngalo idokodo leliya u-3751 of 2019 kumuntu-ke oqokiwe ukuthi kube uyena-ke manje olekelelayo noma-ke oholayo ukuthi-ke kubhekwe amadokodo lana amabili. Angisakhumbuluke manje ukuthi ngikhumbuleke amazwi ukuthi imaphi-ke amazwi akhishwa ukuthi kwakungani, kodwa ngiyakhumbula ukuthi ngaphambi kwaleyo mhlangano loyo kwakhona-ke ukukhulumisana noma ukuxhumana-ke ngocingo la asho khona-ke manje-ke uPerumal ukuthi-ke abazange bavumeke, mase kuthi manje ngaleli langa lange-29 January 2019 yila-ke futhi-ke manje uBrigadier futhi-ke senenkinga-ke khona-ke ukuthi-ke manje abantu sebengalandeli-ke ama-protocol-ke noma-ke indlela-ke yokusebenza, futhi-ke yila bengavumi khona-ke ukuthi nje cha idokodo benganikezi ngalo ukuthi kwangani isizathu angisakhumbuli.
And that infighting, that those differences between yourself, Ramohala, Buthelezi, Makubo, what effect, if any, did it have on the adequacy of investigation and the integrity of investigation of 636-10 of 2014?
Well, my lord, I wouldn't say it had any negative effect. one will recall, my lord, that as I said, at the beginning, it was a fact-finding type of a mission. It wasn't, the misunderstanding or the difference of opinion was not insofar as whether there is evidence to link, for example, accused 1 or accused 2 or any of these accused. It was really to dissect and see whether the docket, in terms of what is contained in the docket, not what someone is wishing, my lord, or what allegations are saying, whether the docket, in terms of the evidence contained in the docket, suggests indeed that there were no intruders or there were intruders. So the difference of opinion was insofar as that part, and that is where we walked our separate ways, my lord. So insofar as the investigations that led to the site of these accused and eventually their arrest and the processes that followed, my lord, there was no issues or integrity or even a desire to say we simply followed. And I'm talking about me now, my lord, because I was now leading the team. Without the 2 members, we simply followed the evidence and were guided by what was available at the time. We collected whatever we needed to collect, my lord, within the prescript of the law. So there was nothing that was done out of those boundaries.
Just a moment. My lord. Manje ke lokuthi ke kwakunokuhlukana ke noma ke nokungqubuzana ukushayisana okwakukhona ke engaba umuphi umthelela lokho okwaba nako ke kulona uphenyo lecala leli. Angeke ngisho ke umaphendula ke ufakazi, ngeke ngisho ukuthi kwaba nomthelela ke owawu ngemuhleke ngoba ke ukwehluka ke noma ke ukushayisana ke kwendlela ke sasibona ngayo ngaleso sikhathi kwakungahlangeneke nokuthi mhlambe kuthiwa hayi cha ukukhulunywa lana ngomsolo wokuqala noma ke umbandakanyeka kanjani, kodwa ke kwakuukushayisana nje kokuthi ke ingaba babekhona yini abantu abangena endlini ngalelo langa lela noma cha. Yilokho ke kwakufuna ukuthi ke kubonwe ke uma kuhlanganiswa lamadokodo lana amabili. Kodwa ke uma manje soqhubeka ke uphenyo ke noma mina ke engakwenza ke ngoba ke kwakuseyimina ke manje ohola ithimba ke ukuthi ke ngangilandela ubufakazi obabukhona noma ke ubufakazi enganginabo ngaleso sikhathi nokuthi ke ngiholwa ke yiloko okwakukhona kulona idokodo ngaleso sikhathi leso.
Now just reverting to docket 375 of 01/2019, I know that it's got nothing to do with you, but the question is this: are you aware that the DPP has yet to take or make a decision on whether or not to prosecute that docket?
As a court, please, my lord, I don't think that is correct. There is a letter to that effect. The DPP has made the decision, and his decision is to hold over a final decision pending the outcome of this matter.
Yes.
As a court pleases, my lord, I do take the response by my learned colleague. If I may, for contextual purposes, my lord, refer the witness to Exhibit Q, which is a directive or correspondence from the DPP dated the 26th of October 2022, and this correspondence was addressed to the erstwhile advocate of all the accused persons before court, Advocate M.D. Tefo, and this is an exhibit of this court, my lord, and I'm not sure whether the contents thereof have been placed on record, but in line with Mafaledi's case, my lord, I'll do so here. And it reads, the addressee, like I say, it's Advocate Tefo, and CC is Mr. Toban, who was the instructing attorney in this matter. And it says, dear sir, Ray Foslora's case 375 of 01/2019, S versus Sibia and 4 others, CC 67 of 2020. Paragraph 1 thereof, it reads, the National Director of Public Prosecutions has issued an amended directive on the 22nd of October August 2022, in terms of Section 22, subsection 3 of the National Prosecuting Authority Act 32 of 1998, read with Section 111 of the Criminal Procedure Act 51 of 1977, and also transferring jurisdiction in respect of Phosphorus CAS 375 of 01-2019 from the area of jurisdiction of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Johannesburg, to the area of jurisdiction of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Gauteng Division, Pretoria. The amended directive will be handed up in court. Paragraph 2 thereof. This office is therefore mandated to make a decision in respect of Phosphorus CAS 375 of 01-2019. Paragraph 3 thereof. In the light of the fact that the decision in Phosphorus CAS 375 of 01-2019 depends on the credibility findings by the trial court in the current trial involving Phosphorus CAS 63610 of 2014, I have therefore decided that the decision in Phosphorus CAS 375 of 01-2019 will be made at the conclusion of the current trial. It is thus signed by the DPP of Pretoria, Gauteng Division, Mr. S. Mzinyati.
Kunale ncwadi ke efundwa yena ke baba Msipile eyayibhalelwe ke loyo owayengummeli wenyuke ngaleso sikhathi ke yena Advocate MD Tefo yange 26 kaAugust 2022. Le ncwadi ke ifundeka ngalendlela ke ophethe ke ihhovisi labashushisi usho lokho noma ke usho lokho kulandelayo ukuthi ngale date 22 August 2022 esho ke umthetho u22 womthetho olawula ke labo ke ekuyibona abashushisayo ukuthi ke mayelana nedokodo ke uFosphorus 3751-2019 lokho ke usho ke ihhovisi labashushisi ngaphansi kwase Johannesburg ukuthi ke le hhovisi leli selithathe isinqumo ke umayelana ke nedokodo u3751-2019 ukuthi ngenxa yokuthi ke u3751-2019 uncikeke ukuthi ke inkantolo kuleli ke iqala liwu 63610-2014 izonquma kanjani manje ke isinqumo ke ngo3751 ka2019 sizokwenziwa ke uma ngabe sekuqulwe laqedwa iqala leli eliwu 636 eliphambi kwenkantolo njengamanje.
Yes, my lord, I'm aware of this letter.
Yebo incwadi lena ngiyayazi.
My lord, just to correct myself, Advocate Tefo at the time represented only accused 1 to 4, not all of them, my lord.
Ukulungisa ke lokho engikushilo ngaphambili ukuthi ngaleso sikhathi leso ke uAdvocate Tefo wayemeleke umsolo woqala kuyofica ke kowesine hayi ukuthi wayebamele bonke.
As a court, please, my lord, just a correction. Exhibit Q, it's a letter addressed to Advocate Mshololo. It's exactly the same letter, but it is a letter addressed to Advocate Mshololo. This one addressed to Mr. Tefo was not handed up as an exhibit.
Sorry, my lord, because the one that I have, and it may have been an error on my part, it's the one that's addressed to Advocate Tefo. I did not have the one that was addressed to Advocate Mshololo, but the essence is that the contents are the same, my lord.
Yeah.
They mirror each other, my lord, to the T. Now, the point that I was emphasizing was that this decision in respect of 375, for the people that you say are the people that were in the house essentially, including Maggie Piri, will be made based on the credibility findings made by this court in this matter regarding 375.
Correct, my lord, but it is insofar as the charge of defeating the end of justice, not the murder of Senzo, because the docket is very clear. It's a defeating charge, my lord.
Yes.
Kodwa ke okusho ile ncwadi ke ukuthi isinqumo mayelana naleli dokodo u375 isizothathwa kamuva ke uma lenkantolo ke isithatha isinqumo ngaleli icala u636 yebo kodwa ngiyafuna ke ukugcizelela ngisho ukuthi lelo idokodo kodwa ke alihlangeneke nokubulawa kwakhe uSenzo Meyiwa kodwa ke uphazamisa noma kumake endleleni yokusebenza komthetho.
If I may get an opportunity to get my bearings on my notes. Now, before I go to the reasons, because during your evidence in chief, you mentioned several reasons why you say that you and Ramohala believe that there were intruders in the house on the 26th of October 2014 that perpetrated the offense that occurred there, correct?
Well, partly correct, my lord, in that the reasons I give in, those were my reasons.
Yes.
I analyzed, like I've said, everyone was given an opportunity to read the docket independently. So Ramohala's views come in a sense that he was also of the view that there were people who came into the house, but I did not put it in a context that, my lord, this is what he found, the way I found it. I was simply putting my reasons to say, what is it that convinced me that they were intruders?
Uma bengisho ke ngikhuluma ke ngokuthi ke mina ke noRamuhala thina ke sasikholelwa kwabo ukuthi ngempela babe khona abantu abangena ke ukuthi ke umuntu ngamunye ke wanikezwa ke idokodo ukuthi ke ayifundele yena ke mina ke ngasho ukuthi ngokufunda kwami ke ngenxa yale izathu ke ngingla engathola khona ngempela bakhona abantu abangena ke naye ke uRamuhala ngokufunda kwakhe ke wase esho lokho naye.
Now, you testified that before coming to this belief that there were intruders, your initial belief as well was that there were no intruders. Am I quoting you correctly?
Yes, you're quoting me correct, but I also qualified it, my lord. I think when I was asked by Advocate Baloyi as to where was it coming from, and I said, basically from what I was briefed, it was not based on facts, it was not factual. When I read the docket, that's when I was able to make a decision based on the facts that were contained on the docket, my lord.
Ubushilo ke nawe ngaphambilini ukuthi nawe ke ubukholelwa ke ekuthini ke cha babengekho abantu abangena ke lapha. Yebo ke ungizwe kahle ke ngishilo ke lokho, kodwa ke ngachaza ke ukuthi kwakungani ke kwakungemayela nalokho engakutshelwa ke, kodwa manje uma sengikhala phansi sengifunda ke manje sengithola ke amaqiniso ke phecelezi ke ama facts. Ila manje khona ke engashintsha khona ke manje ke umqondo ngase ngibona ke ngendlela eyahlukile.
And to that extent, I'm not talking about this belief from your part initially that there were no intruders. You made a statement to that effect, is that correct?
I don't think I made a statement, my lord. Right. I think if Mr. Ramsipla said I made one, he can tell me. I don't recall. It was just a thought, like I said, when then, I don't have a recollection of that statement, my lord.
Ngikhumbule ukuthi ke noma ngicabanga futhi ukuthi sikona ke statement engasenza ke nalokho ke ukuthi ngicabanga ukuthi ke cha babengekho kwakuwumcabango nje kuphela ukuthi cha abekho abantu abangena, kodwa uma ukuthi ke othi sikona ke ngicela ngikhumbuze.
To be fair to you, the statement is not explicit to state that there were no intruders, but you deposed to a statement on the 19th of November 2020 at the NATCOM National Commissioner's Pretoria office. The statement was commissioned by Dowelani Dion Molaudzi, who's a detective sergeant, and yes, it was deposed to, it was commissioned on the 23rd of November 2020 at 15:30 in the afternoon.
My lord, if it was made in November 2020, I doubt very much if I would have said or created an insinuation that there were no intruders, because if one looks at that date, the matter was already enrolled. In other words, this matter was enrolled on the 26th of October 2020. My recollection, and I think Mr. Ramsipile can refer me to the index number, I'll get to that statement, but I have an idea what he's talking about. The statement I made in November, my lord, relates to further investigation and the evidence I collected insofar as my request my request in pursuance, or rather my application to have Kelly Khumalo charged. I think that is a statement, it pertains to that, because I talked to the evidence that I've collected, what is it that I think implicates her in addition to the confessions, and I think I'll talk to the issues of the numbers that were not disclosed. So that statement that I made in November, it is insofar as the application to the DPP to say Ms. Kelly Khumalo should be charged, as he acted as a trigger point. That's my recollection. I don't think I would have said there were no intruders, my lord.
Uma ke manje ukhuluma ngestatement ke sange in 19 November 2020 uyasho ke Mr. Ramsipil ukuthi Service Commissioner ke nge-23 November 2020 angicabangi ke manje lapho uma uthi ke 2020 la khona ke manje ngangicela noma ngisho khona ke ukuthi cha ngangingakholelwa ukuthi bakhona abantu abangena lapho endlini ke ngoba ngaleso sikhathi ke manje icala ke laliseli noma ke babe sebethesiwe ke amacala abasola lalisenkantolo ke uma ukhuluma ngaleso statement ngizoyibheka ke inamba yakho ngizoyithola cabanga ukuthi ke yila engangisenza khona ke isicelo ukuthi ke akathweswe amacala naye ke uKelly Khumalo isicelo leso engizangisenza ke kuyona ke iDPP ihhovisi lalabo abashushisayo ukuthi ke ngenxa ke yokufakaza obukhona ke amanamba lapho ke ngangenza khona leso sicelo sokuthi ke naye akathweswe amacala uMiss Kelly Khumalo.
Yes, my lord. So in November, my lord, if I can just assist the court, in November, there's a statement I made on the 20th of November 2020, and in no way would I say there were no intruders. And then the next one, like I said, unless Mr. Ramsipile can specifically refer me to it, the next one in November.
The one that I referred to, and let me give you the date and then just give a bit of a background of my understanding, but I want us to go to this statement.
Yes, what is the index number, Mr. Ramsipile?
I don't know what the index number is. On top it says 8225.
Yes, that's the one I have in front of me, with
That
five pages.
It's got, now the one that I have is got 4 pages.
No, 8225, it's 5 pages. So you have 105, it goes.
Mine has got 4 pages and the paragraphs, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the paragraphs are sequential until the end, so it cannot be that one.
Is it with 5 paragraphs?
Yeah, it's a big paragraphs, 5 paragraphs.
Yes, that's the one that I have, and that's the evidence. But let me hear you, Mr. Ramsipile. Yes, okay. But I have it in front of me.
Just hear me out, and
yes.
And you are indeed correct. Let me give you that. Regarding the context within which this statement was made, that it was in relation to an application for a Section 43 application, CPA, J50 warrant of arrest in respect of Ms. Kelly Khumalo. But
yes.
I want to go through this with you and put certain questions to you.
Yes.
And this one, because it's typed out, I can read myself. My
yes.
Lord, I've already put the commissioning part on record that it was commissioned by Detective Sergeant Molaudzi, but mine is dated differently, my Lord. It's dated the 19th of November 2020 at 1500, and the commissioning happens on the 23rd of November 2020 at 1530. And with leave of the court, my Lord, may I read this statement on record. Paragraph 1 thereof, it states, I am employed as a police officer in terms of Section 30 of the South African Police Service Act 68 of 1995. I perform my duties under the same act. I am currently stationed at the National Commissioner's Office as the commander of the cold case unit of the National Commissioner with rank of Colonel and service number with telephone number. I'm the leading investigating officer of Foslo Raskas 636 of 10/2014, which is a murder case where one Senzo Meyiwa was shot and killed on the 26th of October 2014 between 20:30 and 2100. The deceased was shot at the house belonging to the then his girlfriend, namely Kelly Khumalo. It initially appeared that it was a robbery gone wrong. Witness statements under oath indicated that the 2 black males entered the house demanding cell phones and money, purporting to be a house robbery. 7 adults and 1 child were present in the house when the accused entered. The witness stated that one of the accused was carrying a firearm purporting to be a revolver. This accused was described as a black male with big eyes, dreadlocks, wearing a khaki or brown jacket or top and a hat. He was shorter in height than the second suspect. The second suspect was described as tall, slender, neatly shaven, and dark in complexion. It is stated under oath that during the robbery in the said house, a struggle ensued between Senzo Meyiwa, the deceased, and the suspect carrying the firearm. 2 shots were fired by the suspect. One of the gun shots hit the deceased Senzo Meyiwa on close range in his chest and exited at the back of his body. The second accused focused on the rest of the witnesses, and in the process, one cellular phone belonging to Ms. Kelly Khumalo was robbed by the suspects during the committal of the offense. It is also stated under oath that suspicious suspects wearing specific clothing, amongst others a hoodie, were standing hidden but only a few meters from the crime scene prior to the incident, appearing to be typing on their cell phones. It is stated that the suspect fled on foot and a hat which was worn by the shooter was left on the crime scene. It is equally stated that the suspects hidden away, which is explained to be linked to the offense, while seen running away from the crime scene. Identity kits were compiled through witnesses of these suspects. The victim was rushed to the hospital by the witnesses who were in the house. However, he was declared dead on arrival at the hospital. The incident took place between 2030 and 2100. The deceased was declared dead on arrival at the hospital at 2115. Paragraph 3. Investigations revealed that the cell phone which was robbed was picked up through cell phone towers until signal was lost, covering the area of Foslora's hostel. The said phone was never recovered to date or ever switched on again. The evidence explained herein under would indicate that the planning of the offense and gathering after the incident took place at Foslora's hostel. Investigation which resulted in evidence under oath revealed that the victim was murdered as a contractual assassination or hit rather than a robbery or a robbery gone wrong. Evidence under oath revealed that 6 suspects actively participated in the planning and execution of the contractual murder of Senzo Meyiwa at the directive of Kelly Khumalo. This suspect, in brackets, Nonhlanhla Kelly Khumalo, is first linked by means of confessions that were made by both accused number 1 and 2, as they both implicate her as the person that gave the instructions to kill Senzo Meyiwa. Investigations further revealed that she had 4 other cell numbers that she did not disclose to the police when these incidents took place. The numbers are as follows: 079, bullet point number 1, 079 494 8773. Bullet point number 2, 073 451 5017. Bullet point number 3, 073 388 6730. And the last bullet point, 061 456 2104. Investigations further revealed that she is linked to the actual perpetrators of this murder by means of cell phone linkages. These linkages connect her to accused 3 and 5. It was further discovered that through cell phone analysis that her cell phone memory has the same photo of a see-through bag containing cash notes and in the exact position, location, and spot as the one of accused 3. Longwetwala has the same bag of money. There is no reasonable explanation as to why Kelly Khumalo will be in contact telephonically with hitmen of her boyfriend. There is also communication records between her and her sister shows that as early as 2013, she wanted to get rid of the deceased, as she puts it clearly on the WhatsApp messages. It is abundantly clear that she hated him and wanted to get rid of him. She further states that she regrets not succeeding to get rid of him before. Taking into account all of these facts, an inference can be drawn that she meant killing him. Paragraph 4. Evidence by means of sworn, corroborating, and independent witness statements establish a causal link between the offenders and the offenses of murder, robbery with aggravating circumstances, possession of unlicensed firearms, and the unlawful possession of ammunition, and conspiracy to commit murder. Ms. Kelly Khumalo seems to be the trigger point of this offense. I hereby apply for the warrant of arrest for Nonhlanhla Kelly Khumalo on charges of conspiracy to commit murder and murder. Paragraph 5, it's the taking of the oath. It is that signed by yourself and commissioned by the commissioner who I have mentioned before, Detective Sergeant Molahuti.
Yes, my lord.
It's highlighted.
Ive statement ke Mr. Msipila qeda usifunda esayenza sabhala uyena ke uBrigadier sambo 2020 ngisebenza imena ke ohola ithimba labaphenyi kwicala uFosila 63610 okuyicala ke lokubulala la khona ke uSenzo Meyiwa wadutshulwa wabulawa khona ke ngazo i-26 October 2014 isikhathi phakathi kuka 8:30 kanye ke no9 ebusuku noma ke ntambama umufike wadutshulela ke enemuzini ekwakula kwakukibo ke kwalowo owayethandana naye ke ngaleso sikhathi uKelly Khumalo eqaleni ke kwakubukeka ngokungathi ke kwakuyobanjwa ke inkunzi kodwa ke lokho akwahamba kahle kodwa ke istatement zofakazi ke befungile ziyasho ke ukuthi ke kwangena ke abelisa abamnyama ababili befuna ke omakhala ekhukhwini kanye futhi ke nemali benza ke ngokungathi ke laba bezobamba khona ke inkunzi abantu ke abadala noma sabekhululeke abawu7 kanye nengane eyodwa babe khona ke endlini lapho uma abasolwa ke bengena ofakazi bayasho ke ukuthi ke oyedwa ke ubona ke abasolwa labo ke wayephethe isibhamu ekwakubukeka ngathi ke kwakuyi-revolver loyo ke umsolwa ke bamchaza ke nanje ngomuntu ke noma ke indoda ke umuntu omnyama eyinamehlo amakhulu nama dreadlocks wayefake futhi ke noma ke egqoke ujacket okhakhi kanye futhi ke noma ke itop kanye futhi ke nesigqoko wayemfishane ke yena ke uma umqhathanisa nalo wesibili umsolwa owesibili umsolwa ke yena kuma bemchaza bathi ke wayemude ke futhi ke ezacile futhi ke egunde nje kahle futhi ke bemchaza ukuthi ke wayedakhi ke ngebala bayasho ke futhi befungile ukuthi ke ngaleso sikhathi leso ke kubanjwa ke inkunzi kuloyo muzi lowo kunala ekwalwisana khona ke phakathi kwakhe uSenzo umufi kanye futhi ke nomsola loyo owayephethe isibhamu lapho ke saqhuma ke saqhunyiswa ke amahlandla amabili uyena umsolwa ihlandla elilodwa ke lapho lashaya yena ke umufi uSenzo Meyiwa umshayela ke eduze esifubeni lase yophuma ke inhlamvu emuva noma ke emhlane kuyena. Owesibili ke umsolwa yena ke wayebhekene nabanye abantu laba ababephakathi ke endlini noma ofakazi ke kulokho ke kwathathwa ke umakhalekhukhwini oyedwa okwakuwo wakhe uMiss Kelly Khumalo uthathwa uyena ke umsolwa kathi ke kwenzeka ke lokho bayasho ke futhi befungile uthi abanye ke abasolwa ke ekwabe noma ke babanye abantu ababesoleka ke bona ke ababefake babegqoke okuthize phakathi kwabo ihudi bona ke babeyimele futhi ke ubona ukuthi baqashileke kuma mitha nje ambalwa ke kusukela nala isigameko sasenzeka khona njengaphambi kokuthi noma ngaphambi kokuthi isigameko leso ke senzeke bebukeka ngathi abantu ababebhala komakhalekhukhwini babo. Kuyashiwo futhi ukuthi ke uma abasolwa ke noma emuva kwesigameko leso babaleka ke ngazo inyawo kanye futhi ke isigqoko somunye ke umsolwa ke noma ke esasigqokwe umsolwa lowo okuyena ke owadubula sasala ke ngaphakathi endlini lapho. Bayasho futhi ukuthi ke abasolwa labo ke ababeyifihleleke futhi abahlanganiswayo ke naso isigameko leso babona ke nabo bebaleka ke besuka kwindawo leyo yesigameko. Kunala khona ke ekwase kuhlanganiswa noma ke kudwetshwa khona ke lokho kubizwa ngokuthi phecelezi ke ama identity kit ibona ke ofakazi bedweba bona ke abasolwa wathathwa ke umufi ke wahanjiswa ke esibhedlele ibona ofakazi ababephakathi ke endlini. Kodwa ke uma kufika ke esibhedlele noma ke emtholampilo ila ekwashiwo khona ke ukuthi cha akasekho noma ke akasekho emhlabeni. Isigameko lokho sesenzeka phakathi ke kuka 8:30 kanye ke no9 ebusuku. Umufi ke kwashiwo ke ukuthi ke noma batshelwa ke ukuthi useshonile ngaye u21:15 noma ke u9 ebusuku. Uphenyo ke lona ke lwaveza ke noma ke lwatshengisa ke ukuthi umakhalekhukhwini lo owathathwa ke khona lapho noma ke owabanjwa inkunzi khona lapho uma kusetshenziswa ke amathawa ila oyatholwa khona isignal ukuthi ke wawukwindawo yase Phosphorus ehostel khona ke lo makhalekhukhwini lo awukazeke utholakale kuze kube manje noma uphinde futhi ke usebenzeke. Ubufakazi buyasho futhi ke ukuthi ke ukuhlelwa ke kwaso isigameko lesi kwenzeka noma ke uma sekuyohlanganwa ke emuva kwesigameko lokho kwenzeka ehostel yase Phosphorus. Uphenyo olaholela ke ekuthini kube nobufakazi ke obufungele buyaveza ke ukuthi uma ngabe ebulawa ke umufi ke ukuthi ke into ke leyo eyayihleliwe ke kodwa kwangasikona ukuthi kuyobanjwa inkunzi noma ke kwahamba akuzange kuhambe ngendlela kodwa kwakuyobanjwa inkunzi kodwa kwakuyinto ehleliwe. Ubufakazi futhi ke obufungelwe ke buyaveza ke ukuthi abasolwa abayisithupha yibona ke babe yingxenye ekuhleleni kanye futhi nokuthi ke kwenziwe ukuthi noma kwenzeke ke lokho ukuthi ke abulawe ke yena uSenzo Meyiwa lokho kuphuma kuyena uKelly Khumalo. Lo msolwa lona ke unonhlanhla Kelly Khumalo okoqala ke uhlanganiswa ngeyitatimende ke zogonyuluka ezenziwa ke abasolwa ababini owokuqala kanye nowesibili. Nanje ngoba bobabili ke beshoko ukuthi uyena ke umuntu owakhipha ke izwi lokuthi ke uSenzo Meyiwa akabulawe. Uphenyo futhi ke olufungelwe uphenyo futhi ke liyaveza ke ukuthi wayenomakhalekhukhwini abawu4 noma amanamba amane angazange awasho noma ke awatshele amaphoyisa ngazo lezo inamba lezo nkathi isigameko lesi senzeka. Lawo manamba ke ila 0794948773 0734515017 0733886730 0614562104. Luyaqhubeka ke uphenyo luveze ukuthi ke uhlanganiswa ke nokubulawa kwakhe ke umufi ke ngokuxhumana ke ngomakhalekhukhwini kanye futhi ke lokho kumhlanganisa naye ke umsolo wesithathu kanye nowesihlanu. Okunye futhi okwatholakala ke ngokucwaninga kwabo omakhalekhukhwini ukuthi ke i-cellphone yakhe noma ke kwi-album ke ye-memory album yakhe ke unesithombe ke la isithombe leso esino nesikhwama ke okwazi ukubona ngaphakathi kusona ke esasinemali ngaphakathi ngendlela nje efanayo noma ke iposition efanayo kanye futhi nendawo njengaleso esatholakala noma ke kumakhalekhukhwini wakhe umsolwa wesithathu uLongwethwala naye ke enaleso sikhwama leso semali. Asikho ke isizathu noma ke ukuchazeka ke okuzwakalayo ukuthi kungani uKelly Khumalo engathi ke axhumaneke nabantu ekuyibona abantu abadubulake noma ababulalake loyo awayethandana naye. Kukhona futhi ke nokuxhumana ke noma ke ama records phakathi kwakhe kanye nodadewabo okutshengisa ukuthi kusukela ngo-2013 wayefuna ke ukuthi ke amgudluzeke umufi, nanjengoba esho ke kuyena ke kuma messages ka WhatsApp kucace ba ukuthi ke wayemzonda futhi ke efuna ukuthi ke amgudluze. Uyasho futhi ke ukuthi ke uyayisola ngokuthi ke engazange aphumeleleke ngokuthi amgudluze ngaphambili. Uma ke uthatha lokhu ke kanye futhi nawo onke amaqiniso ke akukho okunye ke ongacabangela ke ngaphandle kokuthi ke uKelly Khumalo kwakuyinhloso yakhe ke ukuthi ambulale. Ubufakazi obufungelwe obuxhumanisayo ke futhi kanye futhi ke nofakazi abayimele buyasho ke ukuthi kwakukhona ke ukuhlangana okwakukhona phakathi kwalabo abakwenza ke lokhu kanye ukubulala noma ke inhloso kwakubulala ukubamba inkunzi tholakala futhi nezibhamu kanye futhi ke ngokungekho emthethweni kanye futhi nazo ke inhlamvu ukuthi ke kubulawe uMiss Kelly Khumalo ke kuyabonakala ke ukuthi kwaba uyena ke umuntu oqala ke noma ke owayephambili ke kukona konke lokho. Yingakho ke ngenza lesi sicelo ke sencwadi, isicelo sencwadi ukuthi ke aboshwe ke uNonhlanhla Kelly Khumalo kuyinsolo zokubulala.
Thank you, Mr. Jonas. Now, Brigadier, I want us to go back to the statement and I want to put certain questions to you. Before I do you still maintain the truthfulness of this statement?
Yes, I do, my lord.
Ukuthi ke lokho bhalwe kule statement kuyiqiniso ke ngisamile kona lo.
Now, at paragraph 2, where it says, it initially appeared to be that it was a robbery gone wrong. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, my lord. If one looks at the statement, and I think I dealt with this part, that when I was doing the analysis stage, but this analysis was based on what is contained on the docket. Statements of the people who were in the house are clearly indicating that the perpetrators, the alleged perpetrators who came in, demanded cell phones and money. There was no indication, if you look in those statements, that there was an intention, there was a contractual arrangement to eliminate the deceased, my lord. It was an issue of a robbery that would have went wrong, and subsequently the deceased was shot. That assertion in paragraph 2, I base it on the facts that are contained in the statements disposed by the people who were inside the house, my lord.
Lana embhalo khona ke noma ke ekubhalwe khona ke ku paragraph 2 ukuthi ke eqaleni ke kwakubukeka ke engathi ke kwakuzobanjwa inkunzi ke kodwa ke lokho ke akwahamba ke ngendlela. Uma ubheka ke noma ubuka ke idocument zabo ofakazi ezikhona ke kudokodo bayasho ke ukuthi abantu ke ababili labo abangena endlini bafuna ke omakhalekhukhwini bafuna ke nemali. Akukho la khona ke kasho khona ukuthi ke cha kwakuzobulawa lo muntu kodwa ke lokho akwahamba kahle ke. Uma ubuka nje lokho kodwa nje ukuthi ke kwafuna imali kwafuna omakhalekhukhwini kwase kudubuleka yena ke umufi lokho kukutshela ke noma kutshengisa ke ukuthi ke kwakuzobanjwa inkunzi kodwa ke akwahamba ngendlela.
And where it says 7 adults and 1 child were present in the house when the accused entered. In hindsight, now that we know, how many kids were in the house?
My lord, at the time I thought there was 1, but I do know that it was brought to my attention that there were 2 children. So the adults includes the deceased, but the children which I did not confirm, but it was brought to my attention that there may have been another child belonging either to Ms. Kelly Kumalo. I'm not so sure, but there was make mention of a second child, my lord. But personally, I have not independently confirmed that, my lord.
Yebo ke lapho kunyuna khona ke ngabantu ke abadala ke abayisikhombisa kanye nengane eyodwa ke kodwa ke kamuva ke ngasengitshelwa ke ukuthi ke wangenzeka ukuthi wayekhona ke noma yayikhona eyesibili ke ingane kodwa mina ke angikaze nje ngazenzela leso siqinisekiso kodwa ke ngatshelwa ukuthi kwangenzeka ukuthi yayikhona ke eyesibili ingane.
And then I read the sentence beneath that, which says, the witnesses stated that one of the accused was carrying a firearm purporting to be a revolver. Which witnesses mentioned that one of the suspects possessed a revolver?
My lord, I may not recall the names, but they do indicate the witnesses, and I'll have to go through now the A1s if I must, so that I can specify. But the witnesses who were inside the house, they do indicate that the people were carrying some type of a revolver, a firearm with a wheel. And subsequently, there were statements taken by that investigating team to try and correct it, where people were also coming and saying they have no experience of identifying whether it's a revolver or not. So this is contained in the statement. So if I need to specify which witness, I'll have to go through their statements, my lord. But it is contained in the statements of the people that were inside the house.
Ngiyaqhubeka ukufunda ukuthi ke ofakazi ke basho ke ukuthi omunye wabasolwa ke wayephethe isibhamu okwakuke ngathi ke i-revolver. Imuphi ke ufakazi owakusho lokho noma yibaphi ofakazi abakusho? Kungafanele kuzofaneleka ukuthi manje ngibheke ke lama statements abizwa ngokuthi phecelezi ke ama A1. Kodwa ke uma ngabe babechaza ke babesho ukuthi omunye wabo wayephethe ke isibhamu ke esasi nesondo, kwafanele ukuthi ke futhi ke la kuphinde kuyolungiswa ke lokho la bashoyo khona ukuthi abazi ukuthi ke bona ngebhamu ukuthi bangasichazana. Kuzofanele kodwa ngibheke ukuthi yibaphi ofakazi abakusho lokho.
Yes.
For the sake of brevity, Brigadier, I am absolutely interested in the witnesses that mentioned in their statements that they saw what a firearm that is a revolver. But I'm not going to make you go through all the A1s in this court now. I'll pack it and I'll do that as a homework for myself and yourself, so that when we come on Wednesday next week, we revisit this point. I'll also go and verify of all the people that were in the house except the deceased, who says they saw a revolver, because this is a pivotal point in this case.
Indeed, my lord, but I can say it without a shadow of a doubt, my lord. Even if the name revolver, and I agree with Mr. Ramsipe, let us do that. Even if the name revolver specifically may not have been used, but I'm not saying it was not used, I do recall without a shadow of a doubt that someone says it's a firearm with a wheel. Now, a firearm with a wheel is a revolver. I was trained in firearms, I know what it means, but I agree. Perhaps let us look into those statements and come and address the court accordingly.
Lokho kona ke ngingakusho nje ngaphandle komgaba zami ukuthi ukhona ke owakusho noma ke ngasakhumbula ukuthi ubani ukuthi wakhuluma ngesibhamu esinesondo ke mina nanje ngomuntu owaqeqeshwa ke ngebhamu ngiyazazi ke ibhamu ukuthi ke isibhamu esinesondo i-revolver.
And in supplementation of that homework that we are going to do, I may in the meantime refer you to Exhibit J, which is A46, which is a report by the facial image analyst, warrant officer Amanda Yvonne Steenkamp, who initially compiled the identity kits, which part of which form Exhibit BB, but I want us to go to Exhibit J.
Must we go there now?
Yes.
All right. Yes, I am on A46, my lord.
Okay. My lord, I'm not sure as well with this whether it was referred to in passing during the evidence in chief previously, or whether the contents thereof were actually placed on record. So I think, my Lord, for the sake of completeness, I will also have to read the contents of this statement on record, and the specific aspect thereof that I'm concerned with is the witnesses that Warrant Officer Steenkamp worked with to compile this identity kit and the firearm that they described to Warrant Officer Steenkamp. And on the first page, which is this one, it simply says facial image analysis.
Yes.
And page 2 thereof, it says Fosler-Ras, CAS 636 of 10/2014, murder and robbery. And it says, I, Amanda Yvonne Steenkamp, do hereby state under oath that, and occupation and position in the South African Police. I am a warrant officer in the South African Police, force number, I won't mention it, stationed at the Facial Identification Unit at the LCRC in Pretoria, that is the local criminal record center in Pretoria, Protea Glen, where I am employed as a facial identification specialist with telephone number that I'm not gonna put on record. Qualifications and experience. I have 22 years service in the South African Police since 1991. I'm employed as a facial identification specialist at the South African Facial Identification Section since 1997. The functions I perform on a daily basis include the following: facial compilations, facial comparisons, and facial mappings, two-dimensional facial reconstructions of decomposed bodies and facial aging. I received training in the facial identification functions at the CRC, which I presume is the Criminal Record Center Training Section in Pretoria, and received facial identification specialist status during 1998. I received scarcity skills allowance for facial identification functions. I'm a facial identification section commander at Protea Glen Facial Identification Office. I am responsible for managing the section at Protea Glen. My responsibilities involve the managing of the section, 24-hour inspection, pocket book, logbook, and case docket inspection of the member under my command. I compiled thousands of facial compilations, sketches, and two-dimensional reconstructions of decomposed faces, and since 2012, comparisons on a daily basis. I gave lectures at training institutes to investigating officers and in-service training to new facial identification members. On the 11th of March 2014, I testified in an armed robbery case in Krugersdorp CAS 234 of 08 of 2012 and Randfontein CAS 348 of 08 2012. The accused, Olani Fihlani, was found guilty on the expert evidence in Protea Regional Court 7, CAS 43 of 1495 2013. And she goes on to put her training and qualification, which I'll read for record so that when she is called, this is not repeated. I also received the following relevant training within the South African Police. 1997, a 3-week training course in the facial identification field, interviewing an ID kit, 2000 software, and Adobe Photoshop. 1998, ISUS, that is ISUS, course individuals structures, activities, and extended research. 2008, an FARC course, that is facial and cranial anatomy, that's got to do with the face, University of Pretoria, presented by Professor M. Stein. 2008, the facial identification workshop, in brackets, E-FIT, that is capital E and FIT, and Phantom and Composite Lab and Adobe Photoshop software, close brackets. 2010, the E-FIT software course, in brackets, presented by Dr. Chris Solomons, the Vision Metric Forensic Imaging, University of Kent in Scotland, close brackets. In 2010, the facial aging course, presented by Captain Brias, that is B-R-I-E-R-S, in brackets. In 2011, the basic police training at the Chatsworth Police Academy in KwaZulu-Natal. In 2012, the advanced facial image mapping and comparison course hosted by the Forensic Anthropology Research Center at the Department of Anatomy, University of Pretoria, presented by Professor Caroline Wilkinson, that is W-I-L-K-E-N-S-O-N, University in brackets of Dundee, Scotland. And then in 2013, the refresher course in craniofacial identification and facial comparison and photography, University of Pretoria, presented in brackets by Professor Stein, M. Stein. And then the paragraph 4 thereof, it still states the case number and her names, and she states under oath as follows. On Monday, the 24th of October, on Monday, the 2014, 10/29, I was called out to Vosloorus detectives accompanied by Lieutenant Colonel M.J. Streicher, that is S-T-R-E-I-C-H-E-R, Operational Commander Proteadlen, LCRC, to interview witnesses in case 676-1024 Vosloorus. I think that's a mistake there, but I read it as it is. Murder and armed robbery. I interviewed several witnesses individually. My first witness was Kelly Khumalo. Kelly told me in short that she and the deceased walked to the convenience store. Upon return, Kelly, deceased family member and friends had a smoke outside the house. Mrs. Khumalo called them inside to say goodbye. They sit down and start chatting again. Kelly was sitting near the kitchen when she saw two unknown African males entering the house. Suspect A, capital A in brackets, appeared, entering. Kelly was sitting near the kitchen when she saw two unknown African males entering the house. Suspect capital A in brackets appeared very aggressive and demanded cell phones and money. This suspect was approached by Kelly, and the deceased jumped up towards suspect A. A scuffle between suspect A and the deceased started. The next moment, Kelly heard two gunshots. She gave the following description: African male, in his 20s, dark brown, shiny complexion, dreadlocks hairstyle, no scars, no facial hair, golden insert in upper teeth, language, local Zulu. He was wearing a brown jacket with a woolen collar. He was not clean in appearance. Suspect A entered the house first. He was armed with an old black revolver. Kelly could not describe the second suspect. After compilation, she was satisfied with the ID kit. she compiled the face with the headgear. The second witness was Kelly's sister. My Lord, let me pause here. I see it's 1:04. Initially, we had resolved that we were going to ask the court to adjourn early, but since we started late today, I think we should take the normal lunch adjournment, then we'll come back after lunch.
Okay. That's so sad.
Yes,